Yeah, I know. I'm not usually one to jump into dramatic situations at all. This is going to be a little bit of a different video for me, but I want to make this because I have something to contribute to this discussion that keeps going on regarding Tati and Emily Edit and Makeup Revolution. And it's from an ingredients perspective, and I don't see too many people focus on ingredients. Before I get into this video, I do want to say that I respect both Tati and Emily. I think they're very good at their job of being a beauty guru, whether they like that title or not. That's what they are. And they're good at it, and you don't have to 100% agree with the person to respect them. And even if you disagree, you can choose to respectfully disagree. Granted, not everybody has been doing that, and I do think that it is very high school-ish, for lack of a better phrase. But let's get into the topic. I want to talk about formula and ingredients. Now, if you have no idea what's going on, if you missed the drama, then number one, good for you. Number two, all you need to know is that Tati put up a video saying she didn't really like the Emily Edit products from Makeup Revolution. She just had some issues blending them and overall wasn't impressed. I think that generally the beauty community is okay with that type of a statement, you know, saying like, well, this product didn't work for me. You see videos like that all the time. But the reason why Tati's video had such a backlash is because she did use some different techniques. What I want to talk to you guys about in this video is Tati's technique in terms of the ingredients in Makeup Revolution's products, why the ingredients might affect the outcome to her look. So I started thinking about this past Saturday, and what I was thinking in my head is, you know, Tati says at the end of that video that she wishes Emily had gone with Colourpop. So what if we try her technique using a Colourpop eyeshadow palette and compare it to an Emily Edit eyeshadow palette? I'm going to tell you guys right now that the first time I did this, it came out so horrendously bad that I'm probably not going to have the courage to put that look into this video. It was really bad, and there's a couple of reasons that could have been. One, that it was the first time I've ever tried Tati's technique, which was using a matte eyeshadow applied with your finger. But even from the start, I noticed that it was kind of working with the Colourpop eyeshadow. So at this point, I took to the Ulta website and started reading and comparing the ingredients in Colourpop's eyeshadow palettes to Makeup Revolution's eyeshadow palette. So for this video, we're going to focus more on the Needs palette because it's the only one currently available. You can pull up and look at the ingredients to this one, but not the Wants at the moment. You can also look at any Colourpop eyeshadow formula on the Ulta website. It's just real easy. You just open the site, click ingredients, and you can see everything that's in there. I'm glad for the transparency of modern times. But it seems like so many people don't consider this when purchasing products. Now here's the deal, and it's actually something I've talked about several times before. Makeup Revolution's palettes use mineral oil. This is not inherently a bad thing. It is not exclusive to Makeup Revolution. Many companies use mineral oil. But adding oil to your eyeshadow does make them a little finicky. And I think I'm going to give you guys a little example here with the Colourpop eyeshadow, which does not contain mineral oil. So those are some dry swatches from the Colourpop My Little Pony eyeshadow palette. I'm going to add a little bit of oil to one of these and we'll just kind of see what happens. Now the first thing you might notice is that it intensifies the color. I suspect at least part of this is because of the light being reflected in the oils. But something else you might notice as you try to work with it is that the oil makes the eyeshadow actually slide around. That right there is an example of a word that you see a lot in the makeup community called patchiness. And a lot of the reason you see patchiness is that the binders and the fillers in the eyeshadow are separating, which you all know oil does that. Any of you that have oily skin can already sit there and tell us about what happens when you apply foundation over oily skin, when you apply eyeshadow over oily lids. It just makes for a situation that, again, is one word, and it is finicky. And my suspicion for the reason Tati's technique is not working with Makeup Revolution's products is that, guess what else contains oil? Your fingers naturally contain oil. So when you start adding extra oil into a product that already contains oil, you're just kind of making a situation potentially worse. Now, I've been mulling this whole situation over in my head for a grand total of 3 days now. That's way too much time. But anyway, I finally figured out how to make this technique kind of work for me. Now this side is all Colourpop eyeshadow applied with Tati's technique, that matte on the eyelid, taking a shimmer in the inner corner, kind of blending them together, and this side is all Emily Edit. The difference is that for this application, as opposed to the other application, which I said went horrendously wrong, I put down extra powder in every region where I needed to blend. Now hopefully you can still see that I have not mastered this technique, and I don't think it will ever be a technique that I really reach for that often. Reach for it? Can you reach for a technique? One of the problems that I have no matter what I do is that I seem to get creasing, and this also makes perfect sense with a product containing extra oil. Oils have a tendency to kind of slide around, and I think you really see it. I've been wearing this look all day today, and it's kind of separating. But again, more so on the Makeup Revolution side that contains the oil than this side where the only oil is coming from my finger itself. I want to add into this video that I also used this all over my face, and I didn't have any blending issues. I've never had any blending issues with this, but I think this is because of how much powder that I use. If you guys saw that tutorial that I put up the other day, I put a lot of powder on in order to get all of my blush and bronzer and highlighter to blend to where I want it. Basically, I've found that the more powder I add, no matter what type of blending you're talking about, the better it blends. Of course, it can look cakey, and the way that I counteract that is with some kind of a really hydrating spray. I go real hard with it when I'm done with everything. And I guess what I'm kind of saying in this video is that maybe rather than nitpicking individuals or techniques, what if we go back to talking about the makeup itself, so we can talk about what techniques work with what products, why this is, how the ingredients affect things. So let me know in the comment box below if you guys have had an easy time working with the Emily Edit palettes or not, if there's things that you have changed about your technique in order to use these, etc. And if you enjoyed this video, please do make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace out, YouTube.